Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of Live from the Couch. I hadn't planned on doing live streams tonight, but I didn't know what was going to happen. I'm supposed to be interviewing home arcade YouTuber CT Jason in about an hour. And I just spoke to CT Jason, and that's going to happen. But I wanted to have a backup stream just in case CT Jason couldn't make it, because I know CT Jason has a crazy work schedule and sometimes he can't always make stuff. So I just wanted to cover my bases. But tonight, I figured, what the heck, I'll do two streams. I don't care. I got all the time, eked out to be able to do this. I got a nice little chat tonight so far, small in comparison to what we went through yesterday, and the good Austin knows all about that. What's up, good Austin? Good to see you. Says, what's up, Zod? Hope you're doing great. I am doing great, and I'm happy to see some of my fellow home arcade slash arcade enthusiasts in the chat tonight. We got the Rexer Show saying, yo, Zod. What's up, Rexer Show? Rexer Show is such a good guy. I'm glad that I know the Rexer Show, man. And then Rexer, he's awesome. And then we got your average gamer, who's become another good friend of mine, and I'm just glad I know him, man. He says, what's up, my brother? So good to see you as well. We got Sean Franklin in the chat saying hi. We got the great TJ. What's up, TJ? We dropping knowledge today. Yes, indeed we are. Yes, indeed we are. We're gonna drop some knowledge tonight. I am going to give my thoughts on some things that happened yesterday in the live stream. That was it was a pretty epic live stream, if I do say so myself. We had quite a crowd. We had quite a lot of stuff that we talked about, and I kind of want to reflect a little bit on that. And then also, there's a very serious topic that I want to address before I end tonight's stream with regards to the home arcade community. And this is something I'm going to talk about briefly just before I go into the interview tonight that I'm doing with CT Jason. But we'll get to that a little bit later. For right now, what I want to do is I want to cover some bases and talk briefly with you guys and see if you guys in the chat have any questions about anything that was covered yesterday. Again, it was an epic stream. There was a lot of things that were said, a lot of things that were brought to the forefront. And ultimately, I feel good because there's a lot of things that I was able to get off of my chest. So, this is kind of me kind of having a retro look at that. Again, hence the whole retrospective thing. We got Chad Snyderverse saying, good evening, Zod. You had an amazing show last night. Yes, it was. Hashtag moving on from betas. It was an amazing show. Socks, good to see you as always. Lucas Ironside, hey Zod, I hope everything is well. Everything is well. I got two streams today. I can't believe I'm doing two streams back to back like this. This is a lot of fun. Darkness Under the Wind says, hey Zod, what's going on, Darkness? And we got Geek Studios. How's it going, Geeks? Good to see you always. And what's the good Austin got to say? You're an essential part of the community, my man. Thanks for being you and hosting the stream yesterday. It was wild, but necessary. Indeed, it was. And Sean Franklin wants to know, you excited? Spider-Man No Way Home Extended Cut and Thor Love and Thunder. Sean Franklin, yeah, I want to see the extended cut. I'm a little bit mixed on Love and Thunder. There's some stuff that I heard about that I kind of that are kind of making me a little nervous about the movie, but ultimately I do still want to see it. Absolutely. And the good Austin says, did you happen to go back and check out the live chat from yesterday, by the way? I have not seen everything that was in the live chat from yesterday, but good Austin, I know it was absolutely wild. I mean, there was so much stuff. Honestly, there was so much stuff happening in the chat yesterday. I couldn't keep track of it all. It was extreme, and I was just I was like trying. It was so I was so overwhelmed by yesterday's chat that I couldn't. It was like throttling my internet because I had so many people in the chat, and the stream was highly intensive. But that's what happens when you have when you have close to, you have close to 200 people in a chat, that's pretty, that gets things pretty extreme, and it kind of, pulls down on your servers. And it was amazing. I couldn't believe you know how into the entire conversation everybody was. And I was glad to be engaging with so many people. And Austin, I know there's a lot of people that I missed, a lot of comments that I didn't get to see because I was focused on what was going on. And one of the things that I do, well, I like to go and actually go through all of the chats. I like to do that, but that was literally impossible yesterday because there was just too much going on. Plus, with the panel and everything. Geek Studios says all good. Hope you are well. Yes, I am, Geek Studios. Glad again to see you. Good Austin says socks, fellow mods. Good to see you all again. Daniel Martin, what's good, Zod? Yesterday was one for the books. Yes, absolutely. And Sock says hi to the good Austin. And Lucas Ironside says, I'm only watching Thor Love and Thunder because of Christian Bale. And let's see, the good Austin, he says, so crazy, bro, and completely understood, but glad your channel got the numbers. Oh, yeah, it was insane. It was insane. I couldn't believe it. Sickness says, ZodWriter with all the fire emojis in the heart. Yeah, man. What's up, Sickness? So good to see you. So I want to reflect a little bit, guys, on what I experienced today. I kind of had a bit of an epiphany after last night's stream because it was so unique, and there was so much to take away from it and so much to reflect on. Because, for example, my good brothers, Syl Skywalker and the Savage Bat, they literally had added so much to the stream and added their own, and had their own thing. And what I loved about it was that we were all on completely different wavelengths when it came to the stream. I mean, Skywalker was a complete warrior coming into the stream. Syl was ready to start busting heads when he came into the stream. Savage Bat was kind of observing from the outside, seeing things from his glorious, wise perspective. And there I was, being essentially the Mikey verse version of like Gandhi, trying to push for peace and trying to be what I was known for in my younger days as being the broker of peace. And so that's what I was pushing for, and that's what I was going for yesterday. I was really hoping for a more peaceful, I don't know if the word would be peaceful separation or peaceful parting of the ways with certain people. Okay, so what I was basically hoping for, and this is what I want to try and point out, because this was a point that was missed on yesterday's stream because there was so much going on and it was so chaotic at certain points. But one of the things I was trying so hard to go for last night was I wanted it to get, my original vision was for it to get to a point where, two individuals that, we don't get along with, I wanted them to be able to be brought to the stream. This is a perfect word. This is a perfect word. In fact, good Austin, you're like reading my mind, because this is actually what I considered subtitling the name of the stream yesterday. I was going to call the stream what I called it, but then I was going to do like a subtitle, Amicable Departures. That's exactly what I was thinking. I got to get you on a late night Q&A one of these days, good Austin, because I think you and I could have a really interesting conversation about some things. This is what my viewpoint was. I was like, well, I don't necessarily think we're going to walk away from this as friends. I mean, that really wasn't the goal, and that really wasn't something that I thought would happen. But what I was just hoping for was, again, some common common ground and an amicable departure. Essentially meaning I bring you on, you say your piece, you do it peacefully, you do it respectfully, you walk away, I respect you, you respect me. We don't have to really talk again per se, but if we're ever on a stream together, we're ever on a panel together, at least we could be cordial and respectful to one another. And that's really all I was going for. I wasn't trying to, again, it wasn't supposed to be a big hoopla. It wasn't supposed to be where they're coming in hot, cussing people out, being disrespectful and angry right out of the get-go. That wasn't what the goal was. I think a lot of it was there was a lot of confusion and misconception about what they actually thought this stream was going to be. Because initially, my plan was it was going to be mainly me bringing out some evidence and some things that I had, some video clips that I wanted to play, which, by the way, I really didn't have to do all that much because the clips that I wanted to play were going to illustrate points that were already illustrated based on the behavior of some of these individuals when they came into my chat. So because they acted the way they did, I didn't really have to show any evidence. Everything is well documented now. Everything is there. All people have to do, you really only have to watch probably about the first 45 minutes or so of that stream. And if you watch it, you'll get the gist of what it is, and you'll see the direction that it's going in. But you will notice if you watch the first 45 minutes, I was super chill. I was ready to be, calm and peaceful and ready to just have a conversation. That's all it was. And I didn't get that opportunity. I was robbed of that opportunity because of the behavior of two certain individuals. And personally, I feel like, and then later on, they went on and did streams of their own, talked all kinds of trash, called me all kinds of names, when in reality, I was peaceful. I went into everything peaceful. I wasn't calling them names. I wasn't talking about them like that. I mean, dude started mentioning his past and all this other stuff when he was talking to me in DMs yesterday. And it's like, dude, I'm not trying to go down that road with you. I'm trying to have a peaceful discussion. So today I sort of had like an epiphany, and I thought about it, and I'm like, well, I tried. I gave it my best shot. I tried to be the broker of peace. And like the good Austin says here, amicable departure. That's all I really wanted. I wanted everybody to be okay with one another from a certain perspective. And, and now I realize that was unrealistic and naive of me. So I apologize to everybody that was watching that stream that was hoping for the same thing that I was, because I essentially, was looking for different things. Like a movie director, I had a vision for last night's stream, and it definitely did not turn out the way that I had envisioned, but it turned out good enough because it actually did illustrate a lot of my points for me without me having to pull out video clips and bring things up. I didn't have to bring anything up. I literally played 2 clips in the entire stream, and I had a whole bunch of stuff planned. I literally had a clip show planned for last night, but fortunately, it wasn't really necessary to play that kind of video. And with the way my internet was acting yesterday, I'm just as glad that I didn't have to keep trying to play video clips, because that would have been absolutely nuts. With the way the internet was buffering and stuff when I was trying to play clips. And I actually tried to make the clips lower quality. I tried to scale them down so that the internet could handle it. But for some reason, I guess maybe because it was the sheer amount of people that was, and I had a couple of other tabs open. I had, Twitter and Facebook and different things open, so that might have affected it too. I don't know, but yeah, it was pretty interesting yesterday. The good Austin's talking to sickness here. And the Bat Damn 530 says, "Oh boy, that chat last night. Yeah, really, that chat was something else." Rel McMillan says, "What's up, everyone?" Good Austin says, "I'm all in it. Would love to chat on a late night Q&A from my couch to yours." Yeah, bro, we're gonna make that happen. I would say I'm gonna be looking to message you about that sometime within the next couple of weeks. So I'll let you know, because late night Q&A, I always try to schedule most of the late night Q&A things. I try to schedule them within a couple of weeks. I used to be all crazy and be like, well, I'm going to schedule all the late night Q&As for the entire month so that I have a complete schedule. But I'm not doing that anymore. Now I'm doing it, a couple weeks apart to give me some leeway so that I can at least, see what's out there, because you get some people that are that say that they're going to be available, and then things come up and then they're not available, so you have to switch things around, and then you got this and that. So I've just tried to try to create contingency plans based on what I know of the person that I'm going to be interviewing. And I was totally wrong tonight about CT Jason, because I know CT Jason has an amazing work schedule, and he's not always he tries to be free based on the times that he knows he's going to be available, but that doesn't always happen. So just in case, I wanted to have a backup available, because I wasn't sure what to expect. But thankfully, CT Jason is going to be here tonight on Late Night Q&A, and we are going to have that interview. I am much, much, much looking forward to talking to CT Jason. And Sickness says, the real and only Austin, I'm good, brother. Hope you're good too. Let's see. The good Austin says, the best intentions are often misconstrued, brother, and you had the best of intentions. You got so much respect from us for that. I appreciate that, and I respect all of you. And my thing is that I was respecting them too, even though I don't agree with I don't agree with them, and I knew that it was going to be a bit of a struggle, or a bit of a tug of war. I didn't expect them to come in so angry right out of the gate. That's the thing. That's the thing that threw me off. Because I know that like both of these guys, although I don't agree with them about certain things, I don't hate these guys. I don't think that I'm not like, it's not like that. I figured if anything, they would see me being positive and me trying to steer things in a positive direction, and would come in the same way. But no, they just come in guns blazing, you're a liar, you're this, you're that. It's like, dude, that doesn't instill any goodwill. If you want to, again, it's like my mom would say, you catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar. Why are you going to come into somebody's chat who is somebody that you disagree with about stuff, and just start attacking them right off the bat without even stopping to see what they're trying to do? I made the thing is, I blame myself for a lot of it, because of the fact that I DM'd, them ahead of time. They were sending me messages before we started the stream, and they were asking me all these questions, and I was trying to answer their questions, but at the same time, I didn't want to give away too much, because I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. The only person that I had talked to where I kind of had like a little bit of an outline of the direction I was going to go, was when I talked to Max, earlier that afternoon prior to the show. We actually had a phone call and we talked for a little while. So I wanted to, so I was kind of modeling things off of, the discussion I'd had with Max. And I didn't know for sure if I was going to have Skywalker and Syl on with me, but I knew that at some point I wanted somebody on there with me, because I was even thinking about bringing on, Ty from Pop Culture Corner, because he had messaged me prior about possibly coming on the stream as well, but I didn't, I just didn't know how it was going to all work out because I didn't really have the logistics because I had everything laid out in a certain way. I mean, at one point I literally had like 2 or 3 different sets of clip shows for you guys. And that would have taken up about, I would say that would have been taken up about 45 minutes of time because I had a ton of stuff. I mean, this is literally a project that I had put together. I mean, this wasn't something that I just decided to do off the cuff. The whole night before, I had been up, compiling all this information, putting things together, clipping streams, getting different things that I needed. It really was a project, and I did it all, all in one night, all in one evening, trying to, stayed up, and it was like till like 5 o'clock the next morning. I had everything that I needed, and I got everything together, and it just was daunting, and it took a while. But with that being said, I had hoped that I wouldn't have to use all that video material either, because again, I know how that kind of stuff bogs down a stream, especially if you're going to have a lot of people. But I also didn't expect things to go exactly the way that they did either yesterday, with people coming in hot and not giving me a chance to really, engage them on a civil level here. Um, TJ, he says it was an eye-opening stream. Yeah, yeah, for a lot of people. TJ also says they spat in our faces, so from now on, arm's length. Oh, I agree. Oh, I agree 100%. I mean, it's like it's like I know that it's an arm's length, and it's kind of a a mutual thing based on the things that they were saying about us later on, even after the stream was over. Okay, they've been on streams, and they've been like, I'll tell you this. Apparently, you know, apparently me, Syl, and Skywalker, according to these guys, are the aggressors, but that's not what transpired yesterday. Okay, that's not what happened. Okay, that's not. I mean, it's all there. It's all video documented. What went on in the chat? What me and Syl and Skywalker and Savage Bat said. I mean, the only thing that I will apologize to you and to you guys and to everyone about the chat was for me slightly losing my cool about midway through the stream. I lost it because people had said were saying some personal things about me in the stream. I got really upset, and I cursed. I dropped an F-bomb, which is something I never do on my live streams. So for that, I apologize, because that was me losing control. I got a little bit emotional based off of what was being said. So for that, I apologize. That was not the intent. That was not the intent. And like I said, I pride myself on trying to keep my cool throughout these streams. So that's one thing that I will look at what I look back on in retrospect, and I oftentimes will apologize for, because I think I did a good job, maintaining my composure for most of it, but I really did kind of lose a little bit of control towards, at that point there. Let's see. Good Austin says, I was trying to keep everyone civil in the chat too, for your sake, dude. They showed their true colors, unfortunately. Yeah, and I didn't want, and that was the thing too, Austin. I didn't want people being booted out, and I probably should have made that clear early on to all you great moderators, that I didn't really want you to be booting them out, because the whole purpose of the stream yesterday was so that we would all be able to get this out, and so that everybody would have their say. And that's what I was kind of trying to do. I wasn't trying to get it where, people would get booted out like the way that they normally would. This was a different stream, and this was what that was for. If they had something they wanted to say, regardless of how disrespectful it was, they could say what they wanted. But I felt like they had crossed the line at a certain point, and it just got ridiculous and out of control. And like I said, I was telling my dad today, because he watches all the streams, and he called me up today and he commented to me about it, and he's like, I've never heard you drop an F-bomb before. He's like, that was jarring. I've never heard you do that, because you don't do that. You don't talk like that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't. And it was something that I just, I was just angry and upset because again, I was coming into this whole thing from the perspective of, you know, good faith. I wanted everybody to be on equal ground, at least when it came to the conversation. Maybe, again, people have different points of view, but I didn't want it to be cantankerous to the point where we weren't going to be able to have a conversation without it getting into, name calling and personal attacks and that type of stuff. And again, it's all there on video. So people that are calling me a liar are just doing themselves a disservice, because it's all there. It's all there documented. You can watch the stream and see for yourself how people in the chat were derailing it, how the very people that are trying to make the argument that were the problem were the ones instigating all the issues yesterday. And you will see it yourself if you watch the video all the way through. That's all I'm saying. Like I remember yesterday, Brian Master of None comes in, and and I've considered him a friend for many years now. He comes in, and he came in at a point where things had gotten kind of hot, I guess, and he automatically took a side and started making, injecting his 2 cents. And I remember at one point I had to tell him, dude, go back and watch the beginning of the stream and you'll understand why things are the way they are now. Because I felt bad for anybody coming into that stream like midway through. Because if you're coming into the stream midway through, you're not going to see everything that transpired. When I started the stream, at least for me, I mean, I know my buddies had a different perspective. Skywalker, Sill, and Savage Bat, they all had their own views, and they all had their own, and they got to express themselves. But I know how I felt, and so I'm just speaking from my perspective. From my perspective, at the beginning of the stream, up to the midpoint, or up to about 40 minutes in, things were all pretty respectful. All right. And then you started getting people that, were going in on the attack, and we're twisting facts, and we're saying all kind of things that weren't true. So yeah. Sox Bulletin says, sadly, not everyone wants peace. There are people that for whatever reason will dislike someone. Sad, but it's true. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I didn't go into it thinking that everybody was going to somehow walk away and be friends. Don't get me wrong. I have had situations like that before where, I was kind of feuding with somebody, and then I was able to have a conversation and walk away. And then over a time period, we were able to become friends. I've had that happen before, but this wasn't one of those things that I expected. This wasn't one of those things that I was even hoping for. The main thing I was just hoping for was civility. I just wanted us to be able to be on civil terms by the end of it, agree to disagree, and move on, not hating each other. Those were my goals for the stream. I wasn't sitting there thinking, well, gee, yeah, we're gonna be best friends, and I'm gonna be on, $3 theater every night. That wasn't that wasn't what my goal was. That wasn't what I was thinking. But I did have this vision of at least being able to leave respectfully on both sides, and being able to say, we all said some things that was maybe a little bit rough on both sides. If we could just agree to disagree, and just kind of put things in perspective and understand that all we're really arguing about is our differences in opinion about Cape stuff. Let's just move on and just agree not to talk about each other no more, and try to find some common ground. That's all I was going for. I don't think that was lofty. I don't think that was out of the realm of possibility. I just think it was because some people went into it with a very negative frame of mind. Some people they were not thinking outside of the box at all. The whole thing was, oh, this is going to be a negative stream. All he's going to do is trash. All he's going to do is trash these guys. He's not interested in anything. That's what I think it was. The mentality that they had going in was wrong. And if you go into something with preconceived notions, it's hard to come out of it thinking any other way than, oh yeah, I made, it's going to be negative. You think something's going to be negative, then you're already setting yourself up regardless. And then if it's positive, it's kind of like, you're flipping the script, and people just weren't ready for that. TJ says we had irreconcilable differences. Yeah, but even in that case, TJ, like an irreconcilable difference, like between a couple that's getting a divorce, even in those situations, you can at least be, in most cases, you can be civil to each other. You can be civil enough to be able to just at least have that conversation. And that's all I want. I just wanted that conversation. And like I said, I feel like I was robbed of that conversation. That conversation would have happened in spite of what some people will tell you. They'll tell you, oh, he's a liar. He said he was going to bring so-and-so on. He was going to do this. He was going to do that. It's like, you don't know what I was going to do. But if you come in here attacking me, I'm damn sure not going to bring you on my panel. Who's going to do that? Let me ask you something. If somebody is coming in, calling you names, calling you a liar, attacking you right out of the gate, are you really going to be like, oh yeah, you can come on the panel, let's have a conversation? I don't think so. I feel so bad for the people that fall for that kind of stuff. No offense to Max, but he fell for that at the hands of Andy Signore several times. Andy Signore, come on my stream. Max goes on the stream and he gets cussed out. It's like you're sitting there thinking, well, yeah. You see the Lion's Den, and you're going to come in attacking instead of being calm and understanding. Hey, maybe if you approach them with a cool head and you approach them calmly, they will respect you. No, that's not what I got. And I tried, I mean, because we could have did that stream yesterday on Skywalker's channel. We could have did it on a different channel. I didn't necessarily have to do it on my channel, but I wanted to do it because I really wanted to have a shot at some common ground and some peace between, the two sides. That's really that in a nutshell. TJ, great to see you, brother. Let's see. Baby girl saying, hey everyone, and shouts out to you, baby girl. You did a great job as a mod yesterday too. You were handling business, especially when things got really, really heavy in the chat where people were just going at everybody. It was like a feeding frenzy yesterday. So you know what? Everybody that I've made a mod on my channel, I'm so proud of you, because this is one of those times. A lot of times, when I'm up here doing the streams, I'm not really paying attention to the chat except when I'm reading comments. But for the most part, I mean, when people are acting up and acting crazy, I don't have time to focus on that because I'm trying to. And yesterday's stream, was really no exception. But at the end of the day, there was things yesterday that I had to pay attention to because of the type of stream that it was. And the good Austin says they mistook the kindness for weakness. Some come in super disrespectful. Most were pretending and waiting for a chance to instigate in the chat. Sucked to see, honestly. Yeah, it's a sad thing. Again, I'm not. I kind of look at everybody the same. When I meet somebody and I, take a liking to them, if I don't like you or whatever, I'm going to like you and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because I look for the good in people. So until you do something that makes me see you a different way, I'm going to assume that you are that you are a good person and you are genuine and you're somebody I can have a conversation with. And this is what it all boils down to. It's like, look, I'm not going out there looking at everybody as everybody's an a-hole, and I got to try and sift through all these a-holes to find the good people. I mean, that's not what life should be about. You take every relationship, every friendship at face value until you're shown something else that makes you see things in a different way. And this is what I was trying to do for them, in spite of not being able to, not really knowing what they were thinking or what they wanted. They seemed awfully nervous about what I was going to say, because they kept DMing me prior to the stream. I mean, I was getting so many DMs from these guys. It was like they were DMing me like they were my friends. And I'm just like, listen, if you're really interested in burying the hatchet, then what are you worried about here? But you know what? I got something really serious I want to talk about before I wrap this up, because I got CT Jason I'm going to be interviewing in about 30 minutes. So I want to bring on my good friend Rexer from the Rexer Show.
Zod, how you doing?
Good to see you, man. Oh my
Good.
God. It's Rexer. It's been too long, brother. I'm
Yeah.
happy that you're here, particularly for this topic, because it is not a happy topic. And it's something that I really didn't want to talk about myself. I was kind of dreading it, but I feel like it's necessary to bring it up because man, I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want to see anybody hurt themselves. I don't want to see anything happens that, especially when it's somebody that I care about and somebody that I am, I deeply care about. And then to top it off, just in general, I don't want to see anything like this happen.
Yeah. Well, first, it's sad we had to come back on these circumstances to talk about this instead of the fun that we had last show. We had a lot of fun last show, and we talked about a lot of good subjects. But I don't know if I have, it's a lot to unpack here about what we're going to talk about. It's a lot to unpack, and there's a lot of angles that can be addressed. But do you want to give your viewers the backstory so they know what we're talking about before I give my opinion and start going into it? Because I got a lot to say.
Okay. Well, yeah, this is what we'll do. I'm going to give a brief backstory. I'm going to be as compartmentalized as I can about this, because I don't want this to take all night. But here's the thing. A while ago, a good friend of the channel, a good friend of mine, good friend of Rexer, Console Fanboy, was attacked in a live stream that was being called a roast. Okay. And this roast went on for 2.5 hours, where they basically trashed the guy, doxed him, and were playing voicemail messages that were left to him, were left to them by this guy to discredit him. And basically the whole thing was to ruin him. And it's because they've had disagreements with him in the past. It's the typical, you get me, I get you kind of thing. It's very, very negative. For those that want to know more, I believe that the original, the roast, is still out there. I think it may very well be. Thank you very much for the 99-cent super sticker. I really, really appreciate that, and I thank you for being here. But it hurts, because now these same guys that roasted Console Fanboy before are planning to do it again in another day or so.
Right.
And they're promising something that's going to be even more devastating than the last time. And now, in the lead up to it, they're making light of suicide, making light of things, and to the Restore the Snyderverse community, you will know where I'm coming from, because we're all about fighting suicide with the AFSP, Americans for Suicide Prevention. So this touches me even deeper than I ever thought that it would, because Console Fanboy is a dear friend of mine. I consider him a brother, and I am worried sick about him because of his state of mind, because of what all of this negative stuff is putting him through. I don't care what kind of disagreements you have over video games, trying to ruin somebody's life because you disagree with whatever their perspective is, or you don't like Console Fanboy's videos or his music or whatever. I just don't understand, especially if you're grown men who are established, who actually have channels, by the way, that are super big channels. I mean, Rexer, we're talking about, they've got like, between the two of them, they've got what, over 30 some thousand subs. I mean, they're like
they don't need to do this. They don't need to do this for their channel. But let me give some backstory, because the mental anguish that Console Fanboy has been put through the past couple days is pretty severe, and only maybe you know, and I know a little bit because he has reached out to me. And let me give some history, because me and Console Fanboy do not get along all the time at all. Okay, we have had our history. He has done videos about me. He has slandered me and done a lot of things in the past. Okay, but at the same time, he has made some amends. He has taken that video down of me. He's taken the videos down of other people. Okay. Yep. I'm not trying to justify it. Console Fanboy is no angel. Okay. Let's get that clear, right? He's no angel. We know that. People have their flaws. But my point is, since the last roast that they did of him, I am unaware publicly of anything that he has done that could be so severe to them that they would go on and do a roast, because I believe that he has been fairly, cordial to them since the last roast. Am I wrong, ZodWriter? I mean, do you know of anything publicly that he has done?
Publicly, he's been going out of his way to make up with them. He's been going out of his way to make amends. I've never seen a man go so hard, to the point where he actually, this was one of the most remarkable things I'd ever seen. He actually went and tried to become a paying member of one of these guys' channels to try and show that, hey, I want to bury the hatchet. I want to be friends again. We can agree to disagree. He has done so many things to try to make amends with these people, and they just go at him because I don't know why they continually go at him. He doesn't have a lot of subs. He doesn't have a lot of subscribers. He's got a small YouTube channel, smaller than mine. He's got he's very talented musically. He's got a ton of music videos that he puts up there. All of his videos are comedy and satire. None of his videos are meant to be taken seriously by any stretch of the imagination.
Now, he does not have the ability to publicly, in large masses, embarrass the two individuals, and people have said their names in the chat, so I'm just going to say it, Rev and Chris, right? He doesn't have that ability to embarrass them to the extent that these guys do, who are on Instagram, Twitter. They're blasting it all. We're going to roast them. We're going to make them feel like crap. We're going to embarrass them. We're going to do that. How childish and immature is that? And this is the point I want to make, Zod, is when people do that, like Rev and Chris, they think that, oh my God, people are going to love us and they're going to think this is so great. And and the opposite happens. Peers and other friends go, oh my God, these guys are really doing this? And I thought they were, cool dudes. I thought they were good guys. I thought they were all, you do the reverse. You embarrass yourself by doing this. And I'll give you just a quick example of this. And he was in the chat earlier and he knows who I'm going to say, because Console Fanboy has done some bad videos about a friend of mine who, I would defend if push came to shove on his behalf instead of Zohar, instead of Console Fanboys. I would defend the other person because Console Fanboy did tried to humiliate him and bash him. And that person took the high road and went other methods to say, save his name. He could have easily went on and did a huge video bashing Zohar, but he took the high road and took it offline and did the right thing. What these guys are doing with not trying to take it, because again, I don't know. Nobody in the chat knows what has Console Fanboy done to these people in the past 3 months or since the last roast. We don't know.
The last
so who
thing,
cares?
I can give an example of the last. I can give the last example that I know of that I've seen publicly, and I want to thank you, Zeno, for your $10 super chat. I really appreciate it. For the cause, restore the Snyderverse. I believe you were talking about Kevgret, who I have recently modded on my channel. Thank you for being here, Kevgret. Console Fanboy has come after me too, but this is still not right. Yeah. And Kevgret understands that, yeah, you've had disagreements in the past, but that doesn't mean that you want the guy to be completely obliterated. Right. But the last thing that I remember with Console Fanboy, and this is not a negative thing at all. Actually, I was on a stream with Mike of All Trades, Twisted Chris, and I believe CT Jason and Your Average Gamer. It was some kind of live stream that Mike of All Trades does. I was invited to go on. We were part of a panel, and in the chat, Console Fanboy was leaving super chats, apologizing to Twisted Chris, and he left a super chat where he asked Twisted Chris, he basically challenged Twisted Chris to fight him Mortal Kombat on Fightcade. Mm-hmm. He was trying to be friendly, and he challenged Twisted Chris to the match, and we've all fought Console Fanboy on Fightcade. So, but the whole time, Twisted Chris was uncomfortable because, Twisted Chris doesn't like Console Fanboy, and Twisted Chris doesn't really want anything to do with Console Fanboy. So it's one of those things where when a person doesn't a similar thing that I went through recently, where, a guy doesn't want to be around you, but you kind of keep pressing the issue, and you keep trying to, make him see, hey, I'm not a bad guy. I just want to be friends. I just want to reconnect. I want to make amends. I'm sorry. I'm sorry things didn't go the right way, but this is what I want to do. And so Twisted Chris was kind of messed up about it because he's thinking that Console Fanboy is doing this and sending super chats just because he wants to annoy and inflame the situation. When in actuality, Console Fanboy really just wanted to play Mortal Kombat with Twisted Chris. Yeah. And I was trying to explain that to Twisted Chris after the stream. I was like, Chris, just to play devil's advocate here, Console Fanboy just wanted to play you in Mortal Kombat. He's been playing everybody, and we've all gone through the rounds and lost to him a bunch of times. I'm like, it's just something he wants to do. He's not trying to instigate anything with you. He's just trying to reconnect with you in some way. And he really kind of, he was very, Chris was very standoffish about it because he doesn't like Console Fanboy. Right. But that's the last public thing that I know of that happened. And this happened a couple, I want to say like a month or two ago. And like I said, that's the last public thing I saw where he actually was trying to somehow get in the good graces of that individual. And I don't think him doing that really deserves this kind of response.
Not that. But I'm gonna tell you though, Zod. I'm gonna tell you what I think is gonna happen tomorrow. I think that Console Fanboy confided in somebody offline and told them how much he hated Rev and Twisted Chris and said some bad things about them offline to an individual. That individual probably went and forwarded a bunch of messages just like last time, right? But again, it was all in private. It had nobody has seen those messages. Nobody cares. Even if this is all assumption, but it's no secret that he doesn't like Rev, right? So if he calls him a POS, if he calls him a piece of crap or whatever, that should be known. I don't like Rev, okay? I'll admit it here, okay? And I'm sure I've called Rev names to people behind his back, saying I don't like him for these reasons. But that's no reason to go public and roast somebody. Take it offline, like behind the scenes, which is what has been happening, and do it that way. Now, I want to, before we forget though, because I want to make the point even more clear about the mental anguish, which is what you discussed and where it can lead. And I don't even want to talk about that S word. I don't want to bring it up because I don't even want, to go that route. But I want for people to understand that sometimes you have to be bigger and you have to be able to recognize when other people are in anguish. And you have to say, you know what? That person can't handle what I'm about to do. And it may cause some ramifications that I don't want. And and as an example, go ahead, Rev and Chris, roast me because I don't care. I can take it. You want to roast me and go for 2 hours and a half? Go ahead. It's not a big deal. I won't even come back. It's been done by Smash JT. It's been done by Console Fanboy. I really don't care. I don't come back. But somebody like Console Fanboy, he reacts in a very different way. And you have to be able to sympathize, to, be able to have that emotional intelligence that says, ooh, maybe we're doing something wrong here. And they don't.
Yeah. When they did this the last time, I thought it was overkill. I thought, 2.5 hours roasting the guy, doxing the guy, sending messages to his employment, all this stuff. To me, it's not that serious, guys. It's not that serious. If you really think that you need to dox and go at a guy like that, maybe you need other hobbies. You need other things to do because you obviously have too much time on your hands. Because I don't know about you, Rexer, but even if I really, really, really didn't like somebody like that, there would be no way I would invest that much energy into going at them on a level that is so personal and so unnecessary. I mean, if and this is the thing, the first roast, I don't know how many views they got off of their first roast. I don't know how successful they thought it was. But like I said, they got to be bored now because if they're doing it again. And let me make one thing clear. You mentioned earlier that you don't like Rev, and you've been very public about that. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I didn't really know Rev all that well. I had him on late night Q&A, and I literally had one conversation with him about the whole Console Fanboy confrontation back when they had the first roast, and then he blocked me on everything. So I was never able to actually have another intelligent conversation with Rev about anything. So I don't know what the deal is with him, but I guess he hates my guts because I'm friends with Console Fanboy. I don't know. Sure. I don't know. And to be honest with you, things with Chris and I thought Chris and I were cool too. I thought Chris and I were cool, and we used to talk, and then we just kind of fell off because I guess he knows that I'm friends with Console Fanboy, so he doesn't really like talking to me much either. So I've kind of, I always thought that these guys were like, alpha, like, we don't do guilt by association, but apparently in this community, people do. Guilt by association in the home arcade community is rampant. If they don't like somebody at a certain time and they know you're friends with them, you're ostracized too, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you gotta, I don't have any beef with Chris, but he's been on streams calling me names, and I don't care. I'm like, whatever. And I still don't hate him. No, I don't like people when they do things.
I thought, I'm going to tell you the truth. I thought Chris was one of the coolest people I ever talked to. I had him on a late night Q&A, and it was so much fun. But that was before all this Zohar stuff,
Right.
And I'm not, and to me, I don't understand why, if you don't agree, if you're not getting along with somebody, just move on from them. Right. That's fine.
Right.
And I'm sure Console Fanboy gets the idea now that, these guys are never going to be his friend. So there's no need for him to keep trying to communicate with them. There's no need for him to keep trying
don't
to
engage.
reach out to them.
Don't engage with
in
them
at all. Don't mention them. Don't joke about them. Don't talk to them. Just leave it alone. And don't even talk about them to people behind the scenes that you don't trust, because those people might leak what you said to them and then stir it all up again. But like I said, they're going to do this roast or whatever. Apparently it can't be stopped. They're going to do it in a couple of days. And I don't know what kind of an outcome that they're hoping for, but in my mind, I just want to make sure that Console Fanboy is going to be okay.
Okay. And this is what, hey, for Console Fanboy, if you watch, you can reach out to me anytime. I'm sure you can reach out to Zod. Just reach out to us.
Yeah,
but I want to say this too. Yeah, I want to say this too is, people who know Zohar know he's a little, I'll use a correct. He's a little unstable sometimes, right? He gets a little off the rails, goes this direction. His personality goes left, right. Could be a disorder. I'm not going to hide that from him because we've had our discussions. But it's like it's like a person with autism or something. You recognize that they have a different personality. You recognize that, oh, okay, he's not going to react to certain stimuli the same as maybe a person with a personality or composure, and that's the way you have to go about life, is understanding everyone is not the same, right? People react different to different stimuli, and you have to be ready on how to handle it. You have to be ready on how to engage with people differently and, react to them differently. And sometimes you have to take the bigger, to be the bigger person.
Right. You got sometimes you got to be an adult about these things and recognize that there's differences here. You're not dealing with someone who's just going to let it roll off them and think, ha, that was funny. But I mean, like I said, when I saw the first roast, I thought they went even too far for somebody that's not struggling with emotions. Yeah. I mean, if am having my voicemail recordings that I sent that were left in confidence to this person I thought was a friend being recorded for the whole world, I'm sure if you did that to a bunch of people, a lot of people's lives would be ruined, because we've all said things that, off the cuff to somebody that we were friends with that we thought was just like, he's my friend. So I can say what I think.
Yeah. Let me give a quick backstory, because I know you got to get on with CT Jason. I have one other point. I want to talk about Arcade 1-Up's responsibility in this, if they have some, before we go. But, somebody's asking what's wrong with Rev. What it all started was, at least what I remember, is when they were online doing a fight, and maybe it was Mortal Kombat or something, and Rev does what he does, which is get really amped up. He started saying some nasty stuff directed at Console Fanboy, humiliating him, which is fine to a point in fighting games, but he went over the top. Okay, there's no question he went over the top. And the messages that you refer to are messages where Console Fanboy was basically saying he was hurt. He didn't like him. He felt very embarrassed. He was coming out and exposing that, hey, these comments hurt me. And you can't tell somebody, oh, don't be hurt by those comments, because you can't tell somebody how to feel when somebody says something to you or does something to you. They're going to feel how they feel. And if they tell you that's how they feel, you have to respect that. And they didn't respect that at all. Instead, they did the opposite. And instead of apologizing and saying, okay, sorry, Console Fanboy, I won't do it again. I went overboard talking about your mom and your family and talking dirt, whatever it was. And you'd have to go back and listen, because if you remember, it was pretty over the top. But you have to go back and apologize and be a man and say, okay, I won't do it again. I'm sorry. It was part of my shtick. I screwed up a little bit. I went over the top. And that would have ended it. That would have been done. So that's where this all came from for people. So why don't I like him? They made it worse. They didn't make amends, and that's why I don't like some people. And there's other stuff too, but that's few and far between. Can I get my point? Because I know you got CT Jason coming up.
No, you could go ahead. I just sent CT Jason a link, so whenever he can come out, so it's fine.
Okay. So I want to jump into the Arcade 1-Up part.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Please do.
The three people involved in this, which we know are Chris, Rev, and Console Fanboy, all have a relationship with 1-Up in some fashion. Okay? Arcade 1-Up. Arcade 1-Up sponsors them. Arcade 1-Up gives them free goods. Arcade 1-Up sponsors shows. Arcade 1-Up has them on streams with employees of Arcade 1-Up. Okay? There is a relationship with all three of these channels, some more than other, because Console Fanboy only got a free thing. But there is and I'll put in quote sponsorship, because who knows if there's something legitimate, but they are given product and given stuff, okay? And in return, they promote their products. They promote their company, okay? These are the YouTube channels that Arcade 1-Up decides to align with. These three channels, and I'm going to throw Console Fanboy under the bus too, because he's done bad videos about people. These are the channels that Arcade 1-Up chooses to align with. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me that that's what their management does? And then secondly, Mr. John D., an employee of Arcade 1-Up, is friends with almost all three of them, okay, right? Good friends. They look up to him. He has some leverage. He has some power. He can bring them together and squash this. But instead, he's nowhere to be found. He's washing his hands of it and saying, go at it, guys. This is great. Wait a second. You're on their streams promoting your product and sending them free product. They're representing your company, and this is what you get back in return? Your own sponsored channels bashing other people in the community? I don't know. Am I wrong, chat? Or, do they have any?
It's almost, to me, it's almost surreal, because, I look at it like this, Rexer. We're back in the day, we were reading magazines about our favorite video games, right? Now we talk about these games, and we act, not only that, we can communicate directly with the companies that are making these machines and making all this stuff. It's so crazy. And when you speak of it in that way, and you mentioned the idea of actually having a relationship with someone like that, like with John D and all that, it's totally within, like you said, within the realm of his ability to get them together and say, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. Yeah. You don't talk to them. They don't talk to you. Everybody do their thing. And I think Console Fanboy even made a song like that. The reality is, yes, get together and squash it so that nobody's feelings get hurt.
Yeah. Because and he is aware. Somebody in the comments said he's not aware. He's aware. Trust me, he's aware.
He's aware now. I guarantee you
he's aware. He's aware from tweets I did. He's aware from somebody else reaching out to him that told me. I don't want to say who, but somebody,
There's actually been letters that have been sent to corporate Arcade 1-Up about this. So it's not, again, to say that someone is not aware at this point, they are definitely aware, as Kev Grat so wisely puts here. He is aware. Yes, he is. And there is no, so to me, I look at it almost as if, yes, they have a responsibility. They have a responsibility to their community, because this entire home arcade community is based, no matter how anybody looks at it, Rexer, almost 100% around Arcade 1-Up. Yes. Whether you're criticizing Arcade 1-Up, praising Arcade 1-Up, or shilling for Arcade 1-Up, it is all 99.9% revolving around them. Yeah. So if something happens and somebody does something where it's going to affect the entire community, and not in a good way. And for what? Yeah. For what?
Yeah. And look at it however you want, whether you think that Arcade 1-Up has used YouTubers, it doesn't matter. They have engaged with all three of these channels in a way to benefit their company. They have engaged in them. They have given product. They have done things. I'm sorry, but once you have done that, you put yourself in the middle of this. If they would have never been in the community on streams, employees on streams, you know, taking questions, doing this, promoting their products, having people do reviews, you know, having people on shows and streams and CES and do this and do that. I'd say they have no position here unless they could even help. Even if they didn't have any correlation, but you were John D and a friend of these three people, you should help out of the goodness of your heart. You should be like, I don't want this guy to have any, you know, to bodily harm himself in any way due to this stream. You just need to be, a good person.
And speaking of bodily harm, and speaking of other things, and thinking of speaking of masks and of popular horror movies, we have tonight's late night Q&A guest joining the live stream right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you all to an awesome individual. This is a guy who's got one of the funniest and greatest YouTube channels I've ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm welcoming Mr. CT Jason to the panel.
What's up, everybody?
Wow.
Can you hear me?
I can hear
me
you.
all right?
Yeah.
I can hear you, CT Jason. Welcome to Late Night Q&A. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm all right. What's going on, Rockstar?
What's going on? I'm doing great. Hey, I gotta say, we gotta play online sometime, man. You know,
I'm down,
people respect
man.
some game that you got, so we gotta play. But with that said, let me say my goodbyes. This is your two show. I want to thank you, Zod, for having me on. You guys have a great show, and I'm glad you gave me a platform to speak my piece on this. Okay,
always a pleasure, Mr. Rexer. Thank you for being here.
No problem.
Oh my God, it's always great. Thank you so much,
everyone.
All right.
Bye, Rockstar.
Have a good show, guys. Bye.
All right. So, with that all out of the way, and that being said, special thanks to the great Rexer for joining me for that pre-show, so to speak. CT Jason, that was the warm-up act for you, my friend.
Pete, you know what? It was hard for me to get up in here. You had to set up on what? You had to get in with your YouTube account, the Facebook account. I don't got to do that no other stream. You wanted me to you want all of our credentials on. I couldn't just
Jason got to give credentials to get on the ZodWriter show. Listen, I'm excited to have you here, man. This has been one of those things that I've been thinking about, and I've actually had it planned in my mind since I saw your very first video. And that's how long I've been doing.
I'm sorry it took my ass so long. It took a little while, but I'm here. I'm glad to be here.
Bro, you've got one of the greatest home arcade setups I've ever seen in my life. From all the lights and the way you've got all the machines positioned and all that great stuff. What is it with your particular setup that you're going for? Are you actually trying to get to a point where you will literally be able to like host people in an arcade environment to the point where your house becomes an arcade for guests and for, because it looks like that's the kind of setup you're going for. It's amazing.
I just like to have a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? I like the atmosphere. It feels good. It makes me feel like I'm back in the day. You're going to be looking at all the lights and the sounds and all the games, yada, yada. I like to collect. I've been a collector for a long time. You know what I mean? Everything I collected. I got a whole bunch of shit down there. You'd be surprised how much stuff I got. You know what I'm saying? I just got that MK30th cab.
I gotta ask you the important question now. Since you got the Mortal Kombat 30th cabinet, did you put the Daniel Pacina sticker on the sides of the cabinet?
Oh my goodness, what? Let me tell you something. I had to find a place that can do it. I was looking all day. I got a spot. I'm gonna drop that shit off tomorrow. I'm gonna get it back next week. I could probably do it, but you only get one shot. And I'm not going to fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get it done right, pay to play. And I'm going to get it next week. But I'm gonna post a review video tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying? MK30th, everything but the Pacina sticker is gonna be in that video.
Oh,
We're
okay.
gonna see. I'm gonna
But
spend a
does
lot
that
of time with that cab tomorrow morning. See
does
how it
that mean
plays out.
does that mean you're gonna do does that mean you're gonna do another video when you actually get it back with the correct artwork and stuff?
Well, I'm gonna do a follow-up video, but I don't feel like waiting until next week. You know what I'm saying? I could do the whole video but that. So I'm gonna just do the whole video but that. But that'll be a follow-up video. I'm at least having the video of me dropping that shit off. You know what I'm saying? It'll get that far. It'll be a to be continued. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, you do that. You have a tendency to do a couple. You do two parters on your channel, so you're true to the vision of having sequel videos, which is pretty cool. By the way, I have to ask. Let's see. Sharon Peters says, "Ask CT to say Arby's. We have the meats."
Arby's, we have the meats.
Okay,
There you go.
There you go, Sharon. I mean, CT Jason does request, so there you go. That's awesome. You heard it here.
That's Sharon Peters. Sharon Peters be around a lot on your streams, huh?
Yeah, she's
be around.
always here. Yeah. I love having Sharon here. Yeah, she's always here. She's been a mod on my channel for quite a while, and it's just always great that she's here. And I gotta ask you, because you've done so many videos where you actually really show like all of your arcade machines and everything that you've done in like your main area, and you've done that. About how many arcade machines do you have now? I asked this question to all the home arcade YouTubers to see if they can remember exactly how many machines they have.
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't come prepared. If I was to assume, I'd say about 31, 32. But you gotta understand, I'm counting other things as cabinets. I'm counting like At Games Legends Pro connected to the TV. That's the cabinet. You know what I'm saying? I'm counting like you know what I'm saying? One of them Pandora's box decks with a projector screen. That's a cabinet. You know what I'm saying? It counts. It all counts. So
it all
32.
Counts. Even the Pandora box too. Do you ever use the Pandora box? Do you use that a lot?
I'll play. You know what? A lot of that shit I don't get a chance to play it like I should, but it looks pretty. You know what I'm saying? And the kids like it. I don't play it as much, but it's there. I like to, you know what I'm saying, play a little bit of that. Let me keep it real with you. I might be able to play it like once a week. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he said, you can't hear my ass, huh, boy? He can't hear me. Should I back it up? Does it sound better like this?
Oh,
I'm just trying to help out with which way sounds better.
I can hear you. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear CT Jason better when he's closer or farther away. Lord,
is it better like this? Put a number 1. Or is it better like this? Put a number 2.
I think it's better close up. I think number 2.
Number 2, you got it. Number 2 it is. I'm all up there.
Let's see. Lord Koj says, "Greetings, fellow masked brother." Lord Koj always wears a mask when he's on everything too, all his videos and stuff. He kind of goes for the luchador style, the wrestling thing. That's Koj's thing. So he kind of there's a kinship.
That's what's up.
There you go. There's that kinship. Yeah, and Sharon Peters wants to know, which one is your favorite box?
That's a good question. Roger. You know what? All right, we're gonna break it down like this. I gotta say, if I'm picking just arcade one-ups, I'm gonna have to go with that Big Blue is all right. He's got another nice selection of games, but I ain't playing for MK30th yet. So, I don't know. I might pick that. I don't know. But if I'm just picking all around, I'm going to have to say that Games Legend, they got it right on the first try. They didn't disappoint. You know what I'm saying? I could do whatever I want, however I want to do it on the Legends. 1.52. Y'all can't make up your minds. It's all right.
Sharon Peters wants us to take our shirts off. Sharon, I'm not ready for all that yet. It's that's a commitment. One of these days, though, we will do a shirtless stream just for you. I promise. I don't know who that's going to be with, but that'll happen one of these days. Let's see. Macro Man TV. Hey, Zod, how are you? Hey, what's going on, Marco? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Luchadors, oh man, love it. Lord Koj, great to see you. Everybody's pretty excited here tonight. Integrity 101 wants to know, I sleep next to my, well, it doesn't want to know, but he's saying I sleep next to my favorite box. Cue drums. Okay, well, that's cool. so CT Jason, what inspired you to start becoming a YouTube content creator?
Oh, that's a good question. It all started back when I was playing this game called Friday the 13th, the game, on PlayStation 4. You ever play it?
Yes.
That's a good-ass game. I like that game, so I started posting videos with just me fucking random people up, cussing their ass out. That shit was funny. I did it for a while, long time, and then I ended up switching it up a little bit. Started talking about home arcade stuff, yada yada. And that's it. That's how I started doing that. Back in like 2018. Been cussing people out there for a long ass time.
And then you sort of transitioned into home arcades. What was the inspiration for that?
Well, I knew I had a lot of fancy shit going on, you know what I'm saying? I had a bunch of stuff in my basement. I watched all these home arcade YouTubers, and they showing their shit off. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of opinions on shit. So I'm like, fuck it. I'll make a video and I'll show it. And that's what happened. And it all started from there. The home arcade community, it's a good community. You know what I'm saying? The community that I came from, the F-13 community, is very toxic. You know, I contributed to the toxicity, but it's a lot worse than this. This community, the worst it gets is what? Back and forth shit with Console Fanboy and Twisted Chris, yada yada. That's it. That's as bad as it gets over here. You know what I'm saying? Over there it gets nasty. It's real nasty. So I like this community. They embraced me with open arms. You know what I'm saying? I was shocked. I've been around for a little bit.
I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that you you've managed to get open arms and get embraced by the community. I'm not shocked at all because you definitely are a unique personality and you bring a lot of excitement and things to people when you do your videos. And I know I instantly became a fan of yours from your first video of yours that I watched, and I actually really I would have to say I think one of my favorite videos of yours is your Simpsons review. That's
a good one. That's a nice review.
But my absolute favorite video of yours that you did that I am a fan of, I've seen it multiple times, is the video when you got Bobby Vu's computer. Okay.
Oh shit! Yeah.
In the mail. Well, you went to the post office to get it, and you told the story about how they wouldn't give it to you because the post office was closing. and you didn't feel like getting locked up that night. You told that story. It was just really, really, legit and authentic. And I think it's something that we can all relate to, getting to the post office late and not being able to get our package. Knowing we
I
have
was
a
pissed
package that
off.
we're excited about. Yeah.
Oh, that was some real shit. I got down there. I only got there 13 minutes late. I'm like, goddamn, come on, just give me it. I'll pay for it. And then when he brought it out, I was so ready to run out that door with that package. My car was right outside, but they had my address. I'd have to give up. You know what I'm saying? So I left it there. I got it the next day.
You
Shit
actually,
happened.
so you could have technically ended up taking it, and you would have gotten away with it. You would have gotten away with it.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you might have been able to get away with it, but I think. Do you really think they would have came after you if you would have ticket and drove off? Do you think they would have?
You goddamn right. That man didn't even want to bring the shit out the back. He didn't want to show me. I'm like, come on, let me see it. Because I didn't know what it was. Bobby just told me, go down there. You got a package. You didn't say it, so I went down there. I didn't know. He showed me this big ass, heavy ass box. Big ass box. I was mad. I was curious. Bobby told me what it was after I left. But still, he didn't say it. Bobby's a nice guy. That was nice of him. Thanks, Bobby. If you see this, thanks again. Appreciate your ass.
Yeah, that was wonderful. And we'll talk a little bit about Bobby's machine because I also have one. I do want to let everybody know that yes, I did have a separate. I'm going to address your comment here, Jesse, about the other stream. I had it set up as two separate streams because I thought I was going to transition over to the other stream, but I ended up just merging it merging them both into one. So I have since deleted that. So I did do that. Jesse Allen said, "Yo, Zod, you got another video up of this stream that myself and someone else was sitting on waiting." Yeah, I ended up merging the two simply because the last thing that I was doing went, kind of just bled over to this. So I felt like we might as well just transition and make it one big stream rather than starting all over again and doing another stream. It just made sense to do it that way because you guys were all here. You guys were all already here, so it just felt kind of goofy to go to a whole other thing. And
it'd have been nice. It'd have been nice. That was my stream. Now you done took it away. Now it don't count.
No, it's gonna count because I'm gonna change the thumbnail as soon as we're done here. I'm gonna change the thumbnail to the featuring CT Jason to that thumbnail. So yeah, it's definitely going to count. It counts as episode 64 of Late Night Q&A. So yeah, Bobby Vu. The literally, I call Bobby Vu like the god of the home arcade community.
That man is a wizard. He knows what he's doing.
He's definitely amazing. The things that he does, and the whole computer that he sent to a bunch of us free of charge, I might add. He built it was a nice emulation computer with Batacera on it, and literally thousands of games from console games to arcade games. It's beautiful, man. I've been enjoying it, and I know
that shit is nice.
I know a lot about Batacera, so I don't have a problem. Never had a problem, adding or taking games off. So like for me, when I would find games on there that didn't work, maybe because of the ROMs or whatever, I would just go in and switch them out with different ROMs, and they would work. And so now it's a great setup, and it's a great starter thing for people, for anybody that's that just wants like an emulation device that's just going to work right out of the box and give you a bunch of amazing games to play. So that in and of itself is really cool.
It's nice if you can figure out how to do it. You know what I'm saying? We got it for free, so it's easy. But it is free to download, but I don't got the patience to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's why thankfully, Bobby he blessed me with that shit, and I like it. It's nice.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. It's one of the best it's one of the best things you can have, and it's free. So I loved it. I loved it. Jesse Allen said you might want to take that down to avoid the confusion. I did. I just took it down, so it should be gone. And like I said, I will be changing the thumbnail of this stream afterwards so that everybody knows that this is the actual late night Q&A. Chris Kavanaugh says everyone gets an invite to the arcade. In my view. And Integrity 101 has a question for you. CT Jason wants to know, what's your favorite Friday film?
Oh my God, that's a good question. That's a good question. Let me think. Oh shit. I like part 3. You know what I'm saying? Part 3, best looking Jason in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? That's when he first got the mask. I like part 3. But as far as the entertaining movie, the Kill Wise, that part 8 was all right. The one where we went to Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? I liked it.
That's the one. Is that the one where Jason punched the dude's head off?
Yeah. Yeah, I just did a video about that a couple weeks ago. Jumping over that shit. That shit was funny.
Yeah, like
I like that movie.
He did like a Johnny Cage type punch and just sent his head flying across the they were on were they on a boat or were they on, I can't remember.
No, they was on top of a roof and he knocked knocked the shit straight in the dumpster.
Straight in the dumpster.
Fatality.
It was like NBA Jam style.
Boom shakalaka, all up in there. That's right.
There we go. And let's see. We've got Meatball Saucy says 22 watching, nobody chatting. Well, the chat kind of
because they're looking at my fucking face. What you think? They ain't nothing to say. There's a man with a hockey mask. You talking to a man in a hockey mask. There's ain't nothing much else to say.
Everybody's looking at you like, yeah, there ain't nothing to say here.
What the fuck is this shit? I'm talking to a hockey mask. Shit happens. I'm glad to be here, though. How you doing, though, man? What's going on with you? Oh, and look at that. He said, how was the vacation? I did go on vacation, matter of fact. I had fun. I went to a lake. You know what I'm saying? I was down Crystal Lake and shit. I put a little video up. You seen it. But then after that, I went to the Caesar's Palace in Atlantic City, in New Jersey. That shit was fun. I was gambling and shit. I didn't win a lot. I broke even. But the drinks was free. And that shit was fun. And then that's it. Then I came home, seen the MK cab. And that's it. That's where I'm at today.
Nice. And the good Austin says, I'm just listening. This is all new to me. Great to learn. And Integrity 101 says, I always liked part 2. The first with Jason, but before he became supernatural.
Yeah, he was a little bit of a bitch in part 2. He was getting fucked up a lot. He didn't say it, always getting hit, getting scared of weapons and shit. He got stronger in part 3, and then after that, he just got up and super powerful, you know what I'm saying? Man was a wizard.
So the next question I got for you, Jason, is what's going on with the iArcadians, man? What are y'all up to now? Because for a while, iArcadians was going rather consistently or putting out a lot of videos. Is it a time thing, or you guys just are busy, or?
Oh, well, you know what I'm saying? You know, we lost 2 members, you know what I'm saying, not too long ago. Mikey J and, you know what I'm saying, Rainwater. We lost their ass. So then it's just me and Papa Brad. Papa Brad bringing in, you know what I'm saying, some part-time guests. That was working out. But, you know, the last month, Papa Brad, he ended up moving and shit. So between him moving, stuff like that, we decided to take a little break. But we're about to come back probably next week. I don't know, week after. Something like that. We're going to be back, but you won't be up on there.
So wait, Jeff Rainwater left?
Yeah, he left. You knew that. His ass left. Mikey J left. They both left.
That's
Shit happens.
I mean, but he was all about the iArcade, so I don't know. I'm gonna
That's
have to
what I'm
get him.
saying. That was
I'm gonna have to
Mr.
get him back out
IRK.
here again. I don't know what's going on now. See, now I feel like I'm off in the I'm off in the Twilight Zone here. You're all in Crystal Lake, and I'm in the Twilight Zone
I
because
thought the same shit. I was shocked just as much as you when he said he wanted to leave, but I understand. A lot of it had to do with the drama in the community. You know what I'm saying? A lot of drama. And some people here got thicker skins than others. You know what I'm saying? Some people could take it. He just got fed up with the shit. He was doing a lot of shit though, behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Jeff Wayne won. He was helping out with the Facebook threads on the iArcade, all that stuff. He was getting a lot of heat, and he just he needed to cool off a little bit. He'd still be around though. I see his ass in some streams. He'd be around.
That hearing that from you though, it's disappointing because I kind of felt like you guys were on to something, and that if you
We was.
and that eventually it was gonna blow up a lot bigger. It just needed. It's almost like the iArcade itself. It just needed time. It just needs time to continue to build
To
off of
grow.
what they. Yeah.
Need time to grow. That's all. I mean, as he said in the beginning, the iArcadians, and it wasn't just us. It's everybody. Everybody got an iArcade, you know what I'm saying? They call it what they want. We was all iArcadians. So it was okay, we could bring in some more people. It'll still work as long as it's entertaining, but you know what I'm saying? You can't talk about it that much. It was good to take a break. Because there ain't that much to talk about right now with the iArcade. I'm just keeping it real. What are we going to talk about? Some games are hit or miss games, you know what I mean? Some old Coleco games or whatever they bring in last week.
Well, okay, so you're keeping it real, and you're telling me this right now. You're echoing a lot of sentiments. Like I gotta ask. I mean, what's up with these ColecoVision games?
You got enough trying by that shit.
Nobody who has an iArcade. I got an iArcade, and I'm gonna tell you what. I'll tell you when you guys were kind of hitting. I kind of felt like you guys were starting to hit your stride. At one point, I was gonna reach out to Jeff and join you guys, but then I started seeing the way, the decisions that were being made with some of these games, and I started to think to myself, I thought that 2022 was going to be the year that they started really pushing some bigger titles. And now I got CT Jason himself, who's an iArcadian right here on the panel, telling me about the ColecoVision, and you had the exact same thought that I had. Like, what are they doing? Like, I don't know.
Mean, something is better than nothing. You know what I'm saying? At least they pumping out something. But honestly, who wants that shit? You know what I mean? I don't want to play that shit. At least they still bring in online titles. You know what I'm saying? They got the online new titles every week, which you know what? They might have more online titles than Arcade One Up right now. What you think? They might. I was getting up at the end of the summer. I guarantee they do. You know what I mean? They're getting better. And once they get that that new Turtle game, or if they get that Streets of Rage, they get one of them bangers, they're going to be all right. But they're on the right track as long as they keep on doing what they're doing. Arcade One about here fucking up. They fucking up all day, every day. You know what I mean? I seen that monitor on the MK cab. It's fucked up. That shit is nasty.
I'm not buying.
It's
I'm
so
not
bad.
buying it. I'm not buying the MK30th because of that monitor. And I just don't get how they know it's the MK30th, so they're going to sell a lot of cabs just based off of that. So why put a subpar monitor? They would have been better off actually putting a higher quality monitor in this machine and selling it at that price point to get more casual people into Arcade One Up. They could have used the MK30th legacy as a way to get more people into the hobby. But you're talking about a really, really, and I sympathize with you guys. That's a really bad monitor. I don't get the idea at all of going going down that route.
I believe my Gen 1 MK cab monitor might be better than the 30th edition. I gotta check it out.
Oh my
I'm gonna
God.
do some more.
Is there a way you can, have you figured out, is there a way you can swap them out?
I mean, probably. You know what I'm saying? RK1 should have did that shit from the rip and not sent that shit out. But guess what? I was looking at the box and I'm gonna show it in the video. They didn't lie. They didn't lie in the promotional video they put out months ago where they showed the video where they showed gameplay of the cabinet and the shit looked fucked up then. They didn't lie because it's fucked up now. And right on the box, the shit is blurry, just like the monitor. So they kept it real. They didn't lie about it. They can't say, oh, it's false advertising. The shit looks just like how you get it. Nasty. But if you want that, that's what you get. I'm stuck with it. It is what it is. I don't care. It looks pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it looks pretty, and that's absolutely true. And I guess again, these are art pieces just as much as they're actual machines. And so I guess the last question I got for you, CT Jason, is what do you got coming up? What can we expect? What can we expect from you well,
you know what? I still got that home arcade championship I gotta finish, and a lot of shit happened. Me personal wise, it slowed me down. You know what I'm saying? But I got episode 2 in the works. And once we get through that, you know what I'm saying, I'll keep pumping them out. Other than that, I got that review coming for the MK30th cab. And then once I get that gold edition iRcade, that new cab, I'll do one on that. Whatever I think of, I'll do a video on that too. You know what I'm saying? Whatever pops up.
All right. Well, I do want to thank you, CT Jason, for being here. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to thank everybody for being here in the chat. This was really, really awesome. This was kind of a mixed live stream where we covered a lot of stuff prior, and then I just merged the two. But I'm going to change the thumbnail, to make sure that it's exclusive to the interview with CT Jason. And I do thank you very much, Jason, for being here. We got the great Bobby Vu stopping.
Oh shit! It's Bobby Vu in the house. What's up, Bobby Vu? It's clean like a melon. Yeah. To die for.
Yes, indeed. To die for. You gotta love Bobby Vu. We talked a little bit earlier about how much we like your computer, Bobby Vu. It's fantastic. And with that, I'm gonna be back tomorrow because I got another late night Q&A. I'm gonna be interviewing Bat Dan 5:30 tomorrow, so that'll be another fun show. So thank you everybody for checking us out, and I will have the link in the description for everybody to subscribe to CT Jason. Talk to y'all later.
See y'all later.
Peace.